I must tell Jesus all of my trials. I cannot bear this burden alone. In my distress, He kindly will help me. He ever loves and cares for His own. I must tell Jesus, I must tell Jesus, I cannot bear my burdens alone. I must tell Jesus, I must tell Jesus, Jesus can help me, Jesus alone. I must tell Jesus all of my troubles. He is the kind, compassionate friend. If I but ask Him, He will deliver. Make all my troubles quickly and end. I must tell Jesus, I Jesus can help me. Jesus alone. You know, sometimes you just have to tell Jesus about it. All it takes sometimes is if you to get down and get sincere with the Lord and say, Lord, I've got to tell you all my troubles and sorrows. Because He's the one there that can bear all your burdens. The government shall be on His shoulder. Bless His holy name today. Jesus is a rock in a weary land. He's a shelter in the time of storm. When storms come. When you're delivered in the hands of Satan. Though I make my bed in hell, thou art there. No matter where you go. Jesus can save you from whatever situation you're in. He can help you no matter where you are. And you know, sometimes some people will tell you that maybe, there's no way for you. There's no way for you to get back. You send the day of grace away. But I'll tell you, there's grace and there's hope in Him. There's love and there's mercy in Him. Bless His holy name today. In Him, you'll find mercy in Him today. If you'll call on Him today, you'll find mercy there. There was the one time that whenever the Lord, it said the Lord was gone, He had gone up to the Mount of Olives. There was scribes and Pharisees there. They came in amongst Him, and they thought that they could trick Him some way. But they'd come. They'd come to the Lord in mercy that morning. They'd come. I'll tell you today, they brought a woman with them that was, they said, Lord, this woman was taken. This woman was taken in the very act of adultery. According to the law of Moses. According to the law of God. They said that such should be stoned. I'll tell you that they had brought her to the wrong man. They brought her to the wrong man if they wanted her hurt. If they wanted to hurt her in any way, they brought her to mercy, and you know what? They brought her to mercy, and they would receive judgment over her. I'll tell you today, they thought that they would get judgment, but they got mercy. They got mercy that day when they brought that woman there. She had done all of these things, and they said, she was caught in the very act, and she did. There was no hope for her. There's some people that says, that there's no hope for her. They say that there's no hope for certain people. But I'll tell you today, there's hope in Him. If you got breath and you got life and if you got the opportunity, you can call on His God holy name. He'll give you a place to where He'll allow you to call on His holy name. And I'll tell you today that if you'll call on Him with all of your heart and soul and mind and strength, you'll be going to the God of mercy. And my God, through Jesus Christ, will save your dying soul. Bless His holy name today. You know that they brought this woman in there. They brought her right in there, and they all, just a great mob of people. They just had a mob around her, and they meant to kill her that day. They meant to bring her up there and kill this woman that day. And they thought that they were justified in doing what they were going to do. They thought that they could kill somebody. But my Lord said, thou shalt not kill. Bless God today. And they brought her to mercy. They brought her to mercy. And you know that whenever that they brought her up there, they said that this woman was taken. She's the worst woman that you've ever seen. And they thought that they might be able to trick him or whatever in some way. That they might get him to say the wrong thing. They might was that lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world. Whoa! He shed his blood for you. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever can believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Oh, and you know that. Oh, he said whosoever, and he was talking about that woman too.
Yes.
He's talking about you. He's talking about me. Oh, that if you just call on him today, if you call on him, he's merciful. He's merciful today. Oh, I'll tell you, if God had no. Oh, if God wasn't merciful, I'd be lost today. Oh, because one night I came to him and I was in bad shape.
Yeah.
Oh, I came to him one night and I was in terrible shape. And I was looking for mercy. And I found mercy down on my knees one night. Oh, one night I knelt down in a quiet place. Whoa, not knowing what I might find, but when I got down there, I found mercy. Oh, bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that's within me, bless his holy name. Oh, I found mercy down on my knees. Oh, God reached down. Oh, he reached down and lifted me up. Whoa, and he placed my feet on higher ground.
Yeah, Lord.
Oh, I tell you that he set my feet on a rock. Whoa, he set my feet on a rock, and Jesus is that rock. Jesus is the rock and where he landed. Oh, you know that mob brought that woman in there that day. Brought her up there on that mountain top where all of them could see. You know, I don't know so much about what Mount Olive is or whatever it is over there. Whoa, but I know that they brought her there that day, and they intended to kill that woman. And they brought her up there, and she found mercy. She was just like me. Whoa, no hope in this world. Lost and thought she had sinned the day of grace away. Well, she found mercy that day. Whoa, she came there. Whoa, and you know that they asked Jesus, they said that Moses in the law commanded that such should be stoned. Well, what sayest thou? Well, what sayest thou? You know, Jesus didn't say anything. All Jesus did was stoop down. Well, he stooped down and didn't so much as look up. And he began to take his finger and write in the sand. Well, he began to write something in the sand. Well, bless the Lord today. And I don't know what he wrote in the sand. Well, but I'll tell you today. Oh, he never so much as lifted up his eyes. Well, and he said, and he spoke. Whenever that he spoke, he said, let him that's without sin first cast a stone at him. Oh, I'll tell you. You know, whenever you get all these judgmental people around, and they start telling you that according to this and according to that, this person can't go to heaven. Well, you ought to sit down. Well, you ought not even look at them, but sit down. Well, look up towards heaven and say, oh, let him that's without sin first cast a stone at him. Jesus and God, they're the only ones that know. God's the only one that knows. God's the only one that knows whether I'm right or not. You don't know. You don't know. I know that one day that I fell down on my knees and I prayed and I found mercy. And I can confess that to you. Boy, like Jesus said to that man, go home and tell your friends, whoa, how great things that the Lord has done for you. That's what I can tell you today. I can tell you that I got sin sick, and I began to pray. And it didn't seem like there was any to show for me. And I got down on my knees. You know, my mother and dad, one thing they taught us, whenever that you get in trouble, get down on your knees. The first thing you need to do, the first thing that you need to do if you're in trouble, cry out to that great I am. up and said, let him that's without sin first cast a stone at her. Well, they began to look at each other. You know, it'd be kind of tough. There you'd be, knowing that you were guilty, and you come out there to kill this woman, and that you were just as full of sin as she was. Well, you know that whenever that she began to look around, they started walking away. They started leaving. Well, it's from the eldest even unto the youngest. Well, they started leaving out of there. Jesus stooped down again and began to ride. Well, whenever he stood up, there was no one there except save him and the woman. Well, it's just you and him. When it comes right down to it, when it comes down to saving time, well, it comes down to the time when your life is at jeopardy. It's just you and him. Yeah, Lord. It's just you. You know what? You've got to lay aside every weight. You got to lay aside every weight. You know, it's kind of like some of these signs you read in people's kitchen that you enter into whatever with abandon and not worry about anything else. But trust in Him, trust and obey. Just obey whatever He says, and you'll go to heaven someday. You know, I may get some of this wrong here, but He'll never get it wrong. He'll never get it wrong. And He says, whenever he stood up the second time, now some brother told me he wrote all their names down in the dirt. I don't know how many of them there were, but I didn't read where he wrote all their names down. But I'll tell you what, he didn't give them much regard. He didn't so much as lift up his eyes and look at them. That's the way the Lord is. He knew their heart. The Lord is full of mercy. They began to get condemned. They began to get condemned because He said, let him that's without sin first cast a stone at her. Well, they started leaving, and when He stood up, there was nobody there but her. You know what He asked her? Woman, where art thou mine accusers? Well, I'll tell you this. Does any man condemn me? What? She said, no man, Lord. No man. Well, Jesus had already pierced their hearts and they had to leave there. Well, no man, Lord. He said, neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Well, bless His holy name today. Well, go and sin no more. Well, lay aside every weight in the sin which does so easily beset you. Well, let us run with patience the race that's set before us. Ever looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. Oh, who for the joy set before Him. There was joy. Oh, who for the joy set before Him endured the cross. Oh, and despised the shame. And is now set down on the right hand of the throne of God, making intercession for the saints of God. One someday God's saints will be marching in that city. One someday the saints of God will march into that city. How wonderful it'll be. Whoa, you know there's a city over there that's walls are of jasper and the street is pure gold. Whoa, bless the Lord today. Oh, I'm looking for that city. I'm looking someday to go to that place. And I know that we may not know so much about these things. I may not be a big scholar. Oh, but I know that one day God made me wise. Why? He made me a wise man that I was able to recognize Him. Oh, that I heard that low, still voice begin to talk. And He began to, it's kind of like whenever the David was out to battle that time. And there didn't seem to be anyway, there was so many of those Philistines there. Oh, that he was out there and he didn't hardly know what to do. Oh, they began to ask God, oh, you deliver these into my hand today. Oh, you deliver these unto your servant David. And you know, the Lord had already delivered those Philistines up to him that day before, or whenever it was. And he wiped them all out. And here they come back again. It seems like that whenever that you pray, it kind of gets you to where you think, well, it seems like people will say, well, all you got to do is pray one time. Just pray one time. So whenever, well, I tell you what, the Bible says to pray without ceasing. Yes. In everything give thanks. Well, I find myself praying constantly. I find myself praying. I have to pray in the morning, and I have to pray during the day, and I have to pray in the evening. Well, I ask God to lead me and guide me to protect my family. Yeah, Lord. You know, whenever that he said, they came back up on David again, and he said they had gathered into that valley, I believe. And he said, Lord, shall I go to smite them? He said, God spoke to him, and he said, do it not, don't do that. He said, you draw a compass around them. You go around them on the backside. You kind of come around them on the backside, and you look up into the mulberry trees. Whoa, when you see it going on. Well, sometimes the Spirit of the Lord comes. Well, you can see the mulberry trees begin to move. Well, when you see the tops of the mulberry trees begin to move. Well, bless the Lord today. Well, that's what I think about when I hear this shouting and praising God. Well, when you hear the tops of the mountains seem to blow off. Well, the Spirit of the Lord will cause the tops of the mulberry trees to begin to move. You'll see it going on. Well, in the trees. Wow, whenever that you see this, wow, then you'll know that it's time to move. And David brought the men around there, and I think he said he drew a compass around them. And he looked up, and he saw the tops of the mulberry trees begin to blow. He saw the wind begin to blow, and he knew that God was on his side. And he went up against that great army of evil. And I'll tell you, today it's still the same thing over there in that country. It's still the same thing going on. It's one saying I'm right, the other saying I'm right. It's this one, it's the Muslims, and it's Shiites, and it's all this other stuff, and they call themselves all these things. Well, but you're either on God's side, or you're on Satan's side today. There's just one way to get to heaven today, and Jesus says, I am the way. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And by me. He said, by him. He said, I'm the door into the sheepfold. Oh, you know, boy, by me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved. Boy, you want to be saved today? Well, you want to be saved, and you come out here to find mercy. Well, bless God today, you can find mercy down on your knees. Oh, there's even a place in the Scriptures where it says, when you stand and pray, well, if you're standing, pray and ask Him, you'll find mercy. Well, if you're down on your knees, pray and ask Him, and you'll find mercy. Well, no matter where you are in this world, if you'll talk to Him, you'll find mercy there. There's mercy in Him. He's full of goodness and mercy. David said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters, and He restoreth my soul. Whoa, He leadeth me in the pathways of righteousness for His name's sake. Whoa, bless the Lord today. Whoa, thou anointest my head with oil. Yeah. Whoa, and my cup runneth over. Whoa, bless His holy name today. Whoa, and He anoints our head with oil. Whoa, sometimes we can see the tops of the mulberry trees controls it all. No matter how far we seem to get. David said, surely. He said, yea, though I walk through the valley. Sometimes we get in the valley. But Jesus is in that valley. Whoa, Jesus is right down there in that valley. Get down in the valley and see if you can find him. Well, they found him one night at the hour of midnight when it was dark. Well, I'll tell you, there's been many a person that found Jesus at the hour of midnight. There's been many people that said that it got so dark in my life. My life got so dark that I couldn't make my way. Whoa, I looked out and I saw Jesus. Whoa, bless God today. They saw. They looked out that night into the darkness about the hour of midnight and they said, whoa! He said, fear not! Fear not, it's I. Whoa, don't be afraid. Oh, mercy has come walking on the water. Whoa, don't be afraid. Mercy and peace and love has come walking on the water. Whoa, in one scripture it says that Peter said, Lord, if it's you. Whoa, if it's you, let me come out on the water with you. Oh, sometimes it seems like that we could nearly do that, brother. Oh, sometimes, Brother Orlis, it seems like that we could nearly get out there and walk on it. It's like that apostle was. Whenever that he got out on the water, it began to get rough and the seas began to move. And he began to get afraid. And he started sinking down. Oh, I'll tell you today, don't worry. Don't worry. Be careful for nothing. Oh, but in everything, give thanks. Whoa, don't worry today. Whoa, don't worry. King Jesus is coming. Whoa! When things get dark, look out and call for him. Well, whenever the things get so dark that you don't know which way to turn, I'll tell you, and this is honest truth. When I called Irma the other day, and I was talking to her on the phone, and she, all of a sudden, she's driving down that road out there, and all of a sudden, she just seemed to start going away. Things I didn't know what to do. I knew that there was something terrible. And it just seemed like that I didn't. You know, you feel so helpless. And
you are.
Oh, bless God today. And I began to call out to that sweet Jesus of mercy. Whoa, sweet Jesus, have mercy. Whoa, bless her, dear God. Whoa, and I'll tell you, she was just talking, we were talking about this little church. And all of a sudden she stopped talking, and I heard a bump or two, and that was all that I could get, but her moaning. And I could hear her in the background moaning, and I was crying out, whoa! I asked her, Irma, what's wrong? Whoa! I didn't know what to do, and all I knew to do was start praying. That's all we can do.
That's all you can do.
Oh, I tell you, that's the best thing that you can do. Oh, the best thing is to not lose your way, but begin to pray and ask God to have mercy, Lord. Oh, I heard her groaning, and I had no idea that she was out there beside the road, upside down in that car. There she was, beside the road, upside down, and I was calling her on the phone. I thought about that whenever Brother Edward said that he heard my voice on her phone. He said when he played it back, I called her and the phone picked up on it, and she could, and the rescue people, he could hear the rescue people there, and he heard me say, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know so much what to do. But I started praying. I started calling. And called Sister Ethel, and she started calling. Well, she called we got about every police officer in town. Started out with our little bunch, and we've got several in our family. Well, they began to call around, and they found her, and she was there. Well, they said she stopped breathing. In Him there's life.
Yes, thank you, Lord.
In Him there's life. If you want life today, you can choose life or death. Today, you can choose life or death. But you know, I want to tell you, I chose life. I chose Him, and in Him's life. And you know, they got to her and they took her, she had that aneurysm in her head. And it still seemed like, they said that she got there just in the nick of time. And that everything that seemed to happen was just in the nick. What in the world would she be doing talking to me whenever an aneurysm broke in her head, whenever that artery or whatever broke in her head? What would make that happen with the Lord? What would make that happen with Jesus? Jesus is a rock and a weary land. He blessed her. He blessed her that when she's in all that bad shape and stopped breathing, that somebody came to her rescue, and they took her to a place to where they were able to help her just quick enough. They told us, they said, if you hadn't have gotten her here just when you did, it would have been too late. Oh, I'll tell you today, that's how the Lord works. The Lord will come to you just whenever that you think it's time. Just in the nick of time. Why come to me just in the nick of time when I was lost and didn't see any way. I was lost without hope. And I looked out into the darkness, and Jesus was standing there. You know, whenever you get scared or afraid, you get like Peter was whenever he began to sink down into that water. He called out to the Lord and said, Lord, have mercy on me. Save me. Whoa, that's what you have to do. If you want to go to heaven today, you're going to have to ask God to save you. You're going to have to ask God to bless you. Have mercy on you. He's full of mercy. And you know, we're still praying today.
Yeah.
Our little church is still praying for Sister Irma out here. And she's still weak, and there's not very many people who can survive that, but the Lord blessed her. And I hope that you'll continue to pray for her. Continue to pray for this little church, and remember that when things get rough, look out and say, Lord, have mercy on us. Lord, have mercy on all of us. Have mercy on me. And He will.